You're listening to the Current Balance Podcast, Episode 3, 7 Questions to Ask Yourself Before Making a Big Purchase. Let's go. Welcome to the Current Balance Podcast, where we talk about money and all the ways that it impacts your life. My name is Daniel Bradshaw, and each week we're going to give you useful info and tips so you can get and stay financially fit. And one of the best parts about all of this, we go quickly so then you can move on to other stuff. Now, this is just one part of Current Balance. That's a free resource from Marion Community Credit Union, and you can find all of it at currentbalance.co. There are articles, reviews of books and mobile apps. There are money-saving recipes and show notes for this podcast. If you have a question that you'd like answered in an upcoming episode or an article, just go to currentbalance.co and click Ask a Question. Let's get right into today's topic, 7 questions to ask yourself before making a big purchase. Now, this may not be an easy episode for some people to listen to. It's going to be real, it's going to be honest, and take a lot of looking at yourself and what you can do and what you can handle. It's really easy to swipe that credit card or to just click the buy button. There's a lot of excitement and desire that can impair your judgment when you're getting ready to make a big purchase. But before you say yes to something that's big, and what makes it big is going to be different for everyone, you need to ask yourself some hard-hitting questions. We've got 7 of them here. And after you go through these questions, you just might end up leaving that dream product on the shelf or in your shopping cart in the online store. So let's get right to it. Number 1, do I have cash to pay for this item? Now, maybe it's a bonus from work, or you have a little extra money from selling something, maybe at a garage sale, something like that. Now, having the cash to pay for it does not mean dipping into your long-term savings, dipping into the emergency fund to get that new designer purse or to get that new video game system. That's not okay. And putting it on a credit card means that you can't afford it. Just because you have the space on the credit card doesn't mean you need to put it on there, because you're going to be paying more by putting it on that credit card. Right now, the average rate for credit cards in the U.S. is around like 13.64%, something like that. So over 13.5% extra you're going to be paying on that potentially. If you've got the money to get it, that means you have that money right there in your hand or in your checking account and can just pay for it outright. Question 2 you want to ask yourself before you make that big purchase, is this the best price I can get for this item? You want to comparison shop. And that isn't just online. That also means going into the store. Sometimes you can find better deals going into brick and mortar. There could be places that have that particular item that don't have online shopping available. You can visit websites like couponcabin.com or retailmenot.com and find coupons or different discount codes. You're also going to want to research what the best time of year is to buy certain products. For example, for digital cameras or laptops or big screen TVs, April is typically a good month to buy those things. And the reason behind that is something that you might not know if you didn't research, but Japanese manufacturers, their fiscal year ends in March. So they're typically ready to roll out new product lines when it comes to April. So stores are ready to get those things off the shelf. So if you're okay having last year's model for that new digital camera or laptop or big screen TV, then April is a good month to do it. How bad would you feel if you go ahead and splurge on this big item? You get that big screen TV in March, and then the very next month you look and that thing is dropped by $100 or $200. So do your research and see if it's the best price you can get. Question number 3, how many hours of work will it take for me to pay for this purchase? This is something really common that they do for fitness, for health, for people that are dieting or wanting to lose weight and eat better. Saying that there's 195 calories in a single donut, that doesn't sound horrible. But when you start talking about how many minutes of exercise it's going to take to burn off those 195 calories, so one donut doesn't equal 195 calories. One donut equals 30 minutes at uphill, fast-paced running. That changes the transaction in your mind and really makes you think, is this little indulgence, this little thing, is that really worth the price? So calculate the total amount of hours you're going to need to work just to pay for this thing, whatever it might be. And then you can ask yourself, is it really worth all of that extra work that I might have to do? Question 4, before you make that big purchase, is how else can I spend this money? Because once it's spent, it's gone. Once you've spent that money on that big item, there's no taking it back. And you could return it, I guess. So that's a bad example. But once you spend that money, it's gone. It really is. It's gone. And there are other things you might have been able to use it for. It could be groceries. It could be clothes for the kids or something that's really needed around the house. Also, think about experiences, because your memories that you have from different experiences, whether it's a vacation or a concert or something, just some kind of experience like that, memories are going to last a whole lot longer than any object you're going to buy. Number 5, have I splurged on any other large purchases recently? Now, there's nothing wrong with the occasional indulgence if you can afford it. Back to question 1, can you afford it? But it's okay to have one of those every once in a while, even if it's not something that you need. But you need to ask yourself, have I done this recently? If you have, then you could be forming a habit. And if splurging on large purchases becomes a habit, then that's going to wreak havoc and rack up long-term debt. I guarantee that. If this becomes a habit for you, if it's not something you can afford and every month or even every 2 months you're doing that, it's going to cause problems down the line. So better to head it off right now. Now, if you've been careful and you can afford it, then go ahead. But if you have a recent really big purchase, then maybe you should wait for this one. Number 6, how often will I use this item? Think about it. Whatever it might be, how often do you think you're really going to use it? Are you going to get tired of it in just a couple of weeks or a couple of months? Are you only going to use it maybe once or twice a year? Depending on what the item is it something that you could just rent? Maybe it's a certain tool to use for yard work or work around the house. Maybe there's an option to rent that item for the few times that you need it, and maybe that's a better use of your dollars than purchasing it outright and only using it once or twice a year. But really think about how often you would use that particular item before you go and drop a whole lot of money on it. Number 7, how much will this money be worth if I put it into savings? Again, once you've spent that money, it's gone, and there could be better things you could do with it. Go online, find an investment calculator. There's a million of them out there. Trust me. Google investment calculator, and you'll be able to plug in the numbers and say, okay, if I'm going to drop $500 on this item, what could that $500 become over time if I put it away in an interest-bearing savings account or a CD or something like that? So look at how much that money could be worth to you down the road if you would put it away instead of spending it on this item. Okay, let's recap. These are 7 questions to ask yourself before you make a big purchase. Number 1, do I have cash to pay for this item? Number 2, is this the best price I can get? Number 3, how many hours of work will it take to pay for this purchase? Number 4, how else can I spend this money? Number 5, have I splurged on any other large purchases recently? Number 6, how often will I use this item? And number 7, how much would this money be worth if I put it into savings? That's it for this episode. We have a lot more tips, and you can offer up your questions or suggestions for a future episode at the website, and that's currentbalance.co, currentbalance.co. And again, that's a free resource from Marion Community Credit Union. Go check that out. And also tell other people about this podcast. That would be great. We want to spread the word. We want to help people get and stay financially fit. So one way you could do that is with a rating or a review. Whatever app you're listening to me on right now, go ahead and give us a rating. Give us a review and be honest. We don't expect you to give us 5 stars or the greatest review in the world if you're not totally thrilled with the show, but give us some honest feedback and let us know if there's something you like about it, if there's something that maybe you'd like to hear a little bit differently. Let us know that. You could also put a link to currentbalance.co on whatever social media platform you're on. We'd really appreciate it and you helping spread the word about the show. All right, that's all for now. Later.